Okay, let's get this meeting going. Roll call. Pam. I'm here. Julie.
Here.
Me, I'm here. Judy.
Here.
Troy. Here. Janet.
Here.
Daryl and Jeff.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And Dennis.
Yes, sir.
And this is going to be our new clerk, Jan, and I don't remember your new last name.
Higgins.
Higgins.
Hey.
Hello, nice to meet y'all.
She's from Grable, and she's going to do a darn good job.
Yes, sir.
Meeting minutes.
I make a motion to approve the minutes for the meeting last month.
Do I have a second? Approval of minutes. Got a second? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Do we got it? Does the town have to do three-quarter here?
Judy's got one on, don't you?
Okay, we can use that for minutes.
Mark's gonna give it to the two.
Okay,
She hasn't given it.
okay. Agenda for March 14th, 2024. There's a couple of changes.
Of course.
Under new business, we'll put building contract, or building permit for Mike. And what was there any others?
Yeah, I would like to add, Mr. Mayor, so we can talk to the public about what's going on is special meetings in the future.
Okay, where do you want to put that at?
Put that under new business, under building permit.
So that would be number 2. Okay, is there any other amendments to the agenda? If not, do I have a motion to pass it?
Motion passes amendment.
Okay,
Second.
all those in favor?
Aye.
Motion approved. Pay bills.
Bill list in your folder. I can get myself to pull up on my laptop so it's handwritten.
I went over that before the meeting, Mr. Mayor. I would go ahead and make a motion to approve the bills.
Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Reports, clerk treasurer. Julie, you want to handle that one tonight?
Wasn't prepared to handle it. We're getting things together for the budget. I've been working on the water bill and work with, is it John Joyce?
Yes.
I want to say James Joyce, but that's an author, I think, right? John Joyce, on understanding the breakdown of the UDI for the water bill and how that's gonna apply to our individual bills and how we can extend that to the increase that's gonna have to happen. Other than that, it's business as usual. Another reminder to the public is that the auditors did say that we have to charge late fees on the water bills. Currently, we have it set at net 20, and they said, no, it cannot be net 20. According to our ordinances, it's 20 days, the 20th of the month. So that's something that we need to either decide to fix in our ordinance or adhere to, because we're required to do it, is what they're telling us. So
Right.
that's just another reminder out there that that's kind of coming down the pipeline. And we need to handle that. But we've got the water bill increase coming because of the Joint Powers Water Board increasing their rates, and then we have to start charging a late fee, unfortunately, and, you know.
So do we want to put that on the agenda to extend that from 20 days to 30 days?
It's in the ordinance that it's on the 20th of the month, not
Yeah.
net 20, but the 20th of the
20th.
month. So to change that in the ordinance, is that something that has to be codified, or is that a resolution that we can do, is the question.
Believe we can do it.
Can we put it to the end of the month? What's the appropriate way to do that, is my question. 'Cause
I think where you're changing something like that, I think you can do it in a resolution.
Okay.
Go to the codifier.
Because, yeah, there are a lot of people that, just because of the way they get their checks, they don't get their checks until the last week of the month. And so
Right.
I hate to have to, I mean, I don't want to penalize people for the fact that that's not, you know, they don't get their checks until towards the end of the month, depending upon where they fall in their, I don't know, alphabetical order for Social Security or whatever it is.
Right?
So,
So is that something we want to do tonight?
I think we can talk about that when we get to the special meeting part, Mr. Mayor.
Okay. Is that it?
I'm good.
You're good? Janet Court.
Okay. Janet, do you have a paper tonight, please?
I'm sorry?
Did you have a paper?
I gave Julie copies of all of my report and all the backup items this
They were on
afternoon.
the desk. Yeah, she made us copy something.
So I'll just go through really quick, a couple things. So we have court tomorrow, there's no bench trials. Did a reimbursement request for the COPS grant. The money should have hit the bank account last week. I see the court accounting and accounts is an agenda item, so that's fine. What you'll see in the, what do you call it? In the backup things is, it's marked draft at the very top, and that would be the report that I provide to the town council, moving forward. And I outline what that is and sort of that process and that proposal that I put together. So, this is based on how the court clerks in Warren and Grable and Fort Laramie do their reporting. We did a performance report for the COPS grant, and submitted that a few days early on February 26th. One of the things that's come up is that we've had a couple of alerts for the Manderson PD website that people have been trying to log in. And Dreamhost has caught, I think, all of them, but I'm not sure. Anyway, there's one of the sheets in there is, it's called Dream Shield. It's a service that the hosting organization provides. It's $29.99, $30 a year. And what it does is it protects your website from hackers. And I think as, a public agency, and especially a law enforcement agency, we really want to look at, we're a target. And I think $30 a year is probably pretty cheap. Because if there was ever a problem, you pay that would be 2 hours of my time to sit and try to deal with that, and it would take a whole lot longer than that for me to do it. So if I can just get approval to go ahead and do that, I can get that done for, really quickly, just add it on to the hosting plan. And I'm gonna be out, just so everybody knows, I'll be out, starting Saturday for 2 weeks. So, I think I told the mayor and everything else, so.
Are you gonna be here tomorrow? Cause I have no payroll stuff.
I'm sorry?
Are you gonna be here tomorrow?
You have court tomorrow.
Okay. That's tomorrow's payroll run, so.
Oh, yeah, I'll be done probably by,
Okay.
noon at the latest. So. Any questions?
Janet, would you go ahead and repeat what you said on that $30 a year so I can make a motion on it?
Oh, yeah, it's called Dream Shield, and it's basically it's added security for the Manderson Police Department website.
So do I have a motion to purchase the extra security for the police website?
Motion carried.
You want to make a motion, or
I'll make a motion for the Green Shield to go ahead and spend the $30 a year for protection.
do I have a second?
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion
All right.
passes.
Great, thank you.
Maintenance, water, sewer, streets, alleys.
We need to put an ad out. We said we do it in March, right?
Yeah, we've got that down here.
Okay.
As far as the sewer plant, the water and everything else goes, sewer plant's running fine. Randy's been taking care of that on a daily basis. As far as anything else, we're gonna run an ad for maintenance man tonight, and that's about all I can tell you at this point. We've had no water line leaks. Everything's good to go on that. I did attend the WAM conference last month, and I'll find out more on tomorrow, but the ARPA grant, it looks like they've added $20 million to the grant for infrastructure. And I recommend to the council, if that's been added, that we get the application in on the ARPA grant. Because again, everybody knows we've got water lines and water tank issues. So, I think we ought to get that grant written up, get somebody to write it for us as soon as possible. There is still money left in the ARPA funds from the last time they run it. Some towns got the ARPA grant and then they didn't do anything with it, so there's money remaining there. So with that plus the 20 million, if that passed the Senate, I know it passed the House when I was down there, but if it passed the Senate, we need to jump on that as soon as possible. And I'll know more on that tomorrow. I will also know more on the direct distribution. While I was down there, the House passed it from 105 to 145 million, which will benefit these small towns greatly. As far as monies go, I'm pretty sure we're not gonna get to 145 million because the Senate is a stickler in that thing, and the Senate likes to try to keep that where it's at or bring it up just a little bit. So I will know tomorrow what the Senate agreed to. They finished their budget session. They're done with it, so I will get all those figures tomorrow and I'll know exactly where we're at as far as our direct distribution. That's all I got, Mr. Mayor.
Dennis, you said you didn't have nothing?
No, our meeting's next Thursday.
Yeah, okay.
If there's anything up there for it, everything, I know it's
Yeah,
cool right now.
okay. One of you guys want to give the police report?
Tell them no.
Sorry.
Tell them no.
Mr. Mayor, council members, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Jeff Nail, Manderson Police Department. I'm speaking on behalf of Chief Kidgel in regards to a proposed e-citation system to be used by the police department. E-citations is a method by, when you're issuing citations, to be done in an automated fashion rather than handwritten. The advantages of that are the length of time for a stop, meaning that it'll drop from an average of 10 minutes to 3 minutes. The error in processing tickets goes down significantly because someone doesn't have to translate our handwriting. And that is all the way through the entire judicial system. While our own clerk may catch some of those mistakes, sometimes she may not, and it'll wind up at the Department of Transportation, and the error will be inputted incorrectly on someone's license and could result in a negative impact on their driver's license. The system that we're proposing is with Tyler Technology. There are a number of companies that are capable of doing this, and the reason that we are proposing that company is because Wyoming Highway Patrol and Grayville Police Department are currently using that system, and they find that it is one of the better ones on the market. So we're using their experience for part of our proposal. This is a modular system, and that means that it can be built onto in the future should the needs of the department or the needs of the town change, and that means that as technology advances, there will be an ability to integrate radar systems and in-car video so that it becomes actually part of that ticket evidence at the time of the stop. And as a modular company, that means that if the town should grow and the police department's needs should grow, we can add RMS and CAD systems from the very same company. That's it in a nutshell. I hope that it was beneficial, and if you have any questions, please feel free to ask. Yes, ma'am.
Officer Neal, as well as saving time and being more efficient for the police officers, does it also make it more efficient for the court clerk as far as how the data is input and delivered to her, causing her less work?
Absolutely. No data entry. I will have to do that.
Huge saver.
Oh, yeah.
And if the technology infrastructure, specifically with Wi-Fi and internet capability, should get better in this area, we can actually automate some of that function so that it goes directly to the Department of Transportation, the court system. The nice thing about this is the software can be set up in advance so that it actually can drop down menu locations, the posted speed for those locations, the bail schedule, and the statutes from Wyoming. So as you can see, that's how 10 minutes becomes 3 minutes, because the officer is no longer required to either write that in or look it up.
So, Officer Neal, question on my end. Let's see if I can find my paperwork here.
So I take that there's less of a margin for error.
Yes, ma'am. And as you know, the less time that we're out on the road, that means that there's less danger for both the officer and the person that's stopped.
So, a question for the police department that I've got, the new system is, correct me if I'm wrong, right at $20,000, is that correct?
Yes, sir, that sounds approximately correct.
19,682.
So, Janet, on our cost of an average ticket, would you say that it would be around $150 for an average ticket?
Oh, I couldn't, if you'd asked me that a half hour ago, I could have told you. But
Right.
I really couldn't say.
Let's use that number just for right now, that could be,
For what I processed, I think they started about 140 and worked their way up.
140, so that would be close to an average.
Yeah.
So the question to the police department is what that means is that we've got to write 133 more tickets than we wrote last year. Is that possible with this new system?
I can't answer that, sir.
Okay.
And that depends on, the volume of traffic.
Well, yeah, there's a lot of variances in there, there's no doubt about that. But we're going to talk about this down the road, aren't we? Yeah, we are. So, yeah, we'll ask questions down the road.
Okay.
It's on the agenda.
Thank you.
Thank you. Water rate increase, breakdown, update on new costs and late fees.
As we all know, there's going to be water rate increases. And I'm just going to inform the public of what's going on. Let me get to my paperwork here. We've got what we call an enterprise account, which has got to be self-sufficient. I mean, we can't take money from Peter to pay Paul on that. It's got to be self-sufficient. Right now, as we speak, 8 months into the fiscal year, we are staying, well, let's just do this. I took 8 months, divided that by 12, and come up with a total income that we're gonna produce from water, sewer, and mosquitoes through the end of the fiscal year in June. Right now, we're sitting at $69,425 in total income on that at fiscal year end. So what that means to you guys and to us, and don't take what I'm gonna say next to heart, because we can't do it, we won't do it, we've gotta figure out a different way. So that means that our total expenses on our enterprise account is $102,675. Our total income is $69,425. That leaves a deficit of $33,250 short from making that self-sufficient. Now, there's a lot of reasons that come to that point, and we're gonna get to that in a little bit. But if we look at that to balance that enterprise account, that means we'd have to raise rates by $55.41 per tap.
Yeah, we'll be voting.
And I told him not to take that to heart, because we can't do that. There's no way, not in Manderson. So we've got to come up with a way that we can take care of that deficit and get that to balance out. If we don't balance that out, then we're in trouble through the state, because again, it's got to be a self-sufficient deal. So, you know, in looking at the rate increases of 10% through the Joint Powers Board, and the fact that we're under the gun with the audit office, is we've got to raise our rates accordingly to start building a reserve fund. We don't have a reserve fund. Every town's got to have a reserve fund in their enterprise account. We've got this much, 0. So that means if we have a water line break, or if we have a major instance happen, the town of Manderson doesn't have the money to pay for that incident. So in going through the numbers and everything else, and I'm throwing this out just to the council, and I'm throwing it out to the public, I mean, this is facts, and it's what we've got to do, is we're gonna have to raise our rates. I think I figured it out, I forgot to write it on here, but $7 for the water. We're going to raise the rates for $5 for the sewer, which totals an amount of $12 per month that we're gonna have to raise that to start meeting our obligations to the state and building that reserve fund. Now, we're also gonna have to lower, like the other towns have got, I think we get, what do we get, 2,000 gallons before we start charging for it?
Yes.
So, we're gonna have to do like a lot of other towns do, and we're gonna have to take that down to 1,000 gallons. So, with that being said, you've got a $12 increase on your base rates. Then we're gonna have to take the usage gallons, and we're gonna have to raise those by $1, $1.50 after the $1,000. So for every 1,000 over that, right now we're at what, Julie, as far as
$1.75.
$1.75?
Yep.
Is that correct?
On the 3/4 inch, it's $1.10, $2 on the 1.5, and $1.76 on the 1 inch.
So,
It's the difference.
you know, my proposal to make this all work to the council is we've got to have a $12 a month base rate increase, and we've got to figure what we're gonna charge for the extra 1,000 gallons that's used after 1,000 gallons that they get free. So I open that up for discussion with council, and I don't know if anybody else has done any figuring on this or looked at it, but go ahead.
I've been doing some figuring. So, we are charged according to the tap size. We currently have two 1-inch taps. We have 5 1.5 inch taps, and we have 64 3/4 inch taps. We're charged a different rate for each one, with the 3/4 inch being the whole standard. Of the 64, we have the town shop, we have the town sewer, we have the town hall, and then we have this. that nobody pays for. So those are 4 taps that takes us down to 60. We have 3 taps in town that are on derelict properties that nobody's paid on in years. And then we have several properties in town where people are behind on their water bills. So that puts a burden on the rest of the town to pay for what we owe per tap. So, I mean, we have the per tap charge, and then we have all these other charges that come with it, that are by the month. We currently pay $1,866 a month to the Joint Powers Board, and that is going to be increased. Not significantly, but enough. The thing is, I mean, I realize that we're already, not to put a pun in, but we're already tapped out. We pay so much right now, per population rate than other towns, but we have no option. It's gotta get paid. We need our water. So we've gotta increase it by the amount that's gonna cover the per tap rate. It's gonna cover the reserve that we need to slowly accumulate, not a lot, a little bit, that the audit team told us we have to have. And then we have been just like barely breaking even, if that, on what we intake from what we output. And anytime there has been any kind of incident like fire hydrants, that really messed things up. So we've got to build up our reserves on this.
Well, Judy,
So I agree with your $12.
yeah, I'm gonna correct you on that. You said we're barely breaking even. We're not even close to breaking even.
If we were on a normal schedule, we would have, but the extra expenditures we've had this last year really put us in a hole. If we look at the history, we were okay, but this last year, that killed us.
Yeah, and the other thing, just so the public knows it's killing us, and we're gonna get into this in a minute. But right now, out of, how many taps do we got active?
64 plus 5 plus 2, but yeah.
Out of that number of taps right now, we've got 18 delinquent accounts, which really puts the burden on the people that are paying their bills. So, you know, with that, this is another reason that we're having, and excuse my French, one hell of a time trying to pay the 1866 when we got 18 delinquent accounts. That's gonna be discussed in a little bit, so, you know, we're gonna get into the budget here in a little bit, and I've done a lot of work on the budget due to this thing, because I ain't got anything else to do, so, yeah, we're gonna go ahead and pass a budget tonight in the first reading on this water increase, because I believe we've gotta have 3 readings on it. Is that correct, Mr. Mayor? Okay. So anyhow, you know, if Judy or Troy or anybody, Rod's got any discussion on it, you know, my numbers show $12, drop it to 1,000 gallons free, and then raise the rate to, on anything over $1,000, raise it $1 or 75 cents or $2, whatever you guys feel is fair. But we've gotta get this taken care of, period.
We shouldn't have had to, we should have had a reserve, and we should have had to borrow from the community fund just to fix the fire hydrant issues and deal with the leakages and the other issues going on. And if things had been set up correctly to begin with, that shouldn't have happened. We should have had the funds.
And part of our problem was is when they moved the school out, that took $1,000 away that we all get to pick up.
But I don't think that was planned for either. Nobody thought of that far
Right.
ahead when the school was gonna leave the town.
I do have a curious question, and this is going back 4, 5, maybe 6 years. When do we go back up to 2,000? We've already been dropped down to 1,000.
Yeah, we only get 1,000 gallons free.
No, it's been, since
And on my water bill, it's 1,000.
And just going back, it was actually changed to be dropped down to 1,000.
really, I'll have to look, because I thought everybody was at 2,000. 2,000, after 2,000, then you get one.
Yeah, we always, I was on the council when it was changed, and that was a big, huge fight, that we got to drop down to 1,000.
Nope. It is 1,000, and my water bill there.
Okay.
Yeah.
then they're not all equal. Because, so the water bills, when they go out, because everybody's got a little bit different rate because their sewer bills are different.
Right.
You copy the last bill, and then you change the usage. So that means they're not all set up correctly. And
Well, no, some's getting 1,003 and some aren't. If that's what's in there, I guess I'll check mine.
so now they'll gotta go through, get going through, because, yeah.
Well, if it's already 1,000, and I apologize, because I don't deal with my bills, Gail does that. I've always been to the theory that it wasn't 2,000 gallons, so I apologize to the public and apologize
It is 1,000.
to the council.
Now I gotta.
So, if it's 1,000, that's fine.
Yeah.
I mean, we don't have to make a motion on that, but we still need to make a motion on the $12 raise plus the increase in usage,
We said 7 and 7, that's 14?
7 and 5,
Oh, 7 and 5, okay.
plus a usage increase because of the EDUs that were being charged from joint powers.
Now, why do we have to increase on the sewer? I'm curious on that.
Well, you know, we don't, we could make it just $12 on the water. I mean, it's, what I was figuring, I was just breaking it into two different categories.
Right.
You know, we've got issues with that too on the enterprise account, because we've got advent we take care of, we've got all our sampling we've got to take care of. All that stuff has went up in the last couple of years. So, you know, we've got to adequately adjust for that, as well as the water. I know that the water rates are an issue, but the sewer rates are also an issue, because when we used to clean the pods down there, we'd spend, and I'm just throwing a number out there because I don't have it in front of me, but $4,000 4 years ago. That's now $6,600. So, you know, we haven't done any increases on this in a lot of years. And we've got to adjust to inflation, we've got to adjust to parts, we've got to adjust to labor, we've got to adjust to all those things on both of them to make it work out.
We also got to, we've got to have a reserve for the water, and we've got to have a reserve for the sewer. They're two separate, so we've got to take a little bit of that. Our lines wear out, and we don't have any money. We run the state, ask them for money, they're going to say, what do you got in reserves? When we tell them nothing, they're going to laugh at us. You expect us to help you guys out when you didn't look forward to the future? So it's just something we've got to do.
So the monthly lab testing from PACE, it's my understanding that if it doesn't come back right, then they test it again a couple times. So sometimes it's 1 or 2 tests a month, sometimes it's like 4. So we can have $800 to $1,000 a month, and we can have $3,500 a month. And then if there's a real issue, then they send it to somewhere else, and then that place bills us $5,000 or $6,000 to fix the problem. And we've had that happen about twice a year for the last year and a half, 2 years that I've been around. So it adds up, it really does.
Well, there's a couple other things that, you know, seeing as we're on this subject, that I'd like to bring to the council. And, you know, like Julie says, we're paying, and we can do part of it, but we're paying anywhere from $800 to $6,500 for the testing per month.
And but it's gotta go through certified labs.
Right. So, we talked about this, and Dennis, you remember years ago, is we talked about doing our own sampling. And, you know, there's not a problem with that, but if we do our own sampling, it's got to be into the labs within a 24-hour period. Well, if we're spending that kind of money and we can do our own sampling, I think we could cut that cost tremendously. And, you know, this is just a thought, and I ain't talking to anybody else, but maybe if we done that, we could do basin sampling and Grable sampling, and hire a guy here to do that, take that to buildings, and we could cut the cost for 3 cities versus 1. But when we're paying that kind of money for sampling, I think that we could do it ourselves a heck of a lot cheaper.
Good luck finding somebody.
Well, that's the deal, you know. We've got a lot of retired guys in town that could run the buildings and do it.
I think place that we go through now does it in
Sheridan.
Buffalo? Sheridan or Buffalo? Yeah.
Sure, but if we done it ourselves, they got a testing lab in Billings that would,
But that's
Do a
even
lot better roads.
farther away.
yeah, well, not really, because by the time you go over that mountain, and you got snowy roads, and you got mountains to climb and everything else, Billings would be my pick to do it if we done it. But that's something that, you know, I'd like the council to think about, and let me do some research on it and see where we can get with that and bring that up at the next meeting, for a cost savings.
See, the other day when I was in Powell with their water sewer department, they had a man come in at 7, he was gonna get their sample and run it to Billings. Well, what if we got our sample and run it to Powell and he could run it to Billings? You know, anything that we could cut costs on. And I failed to ask him, a bunch of the correct questions because I was working for them, not there to ask questions. But it's something that I can get more information on.
Well, it's like we're talking, you know, we've got a deficit on our enterprise account, we've got to figure out some way to get that taken care of.
Can I ask a question? You guys are wanting to try to save money and get that enterprise rebuilt, but like last year, you guys wanted to hire Chris Saunders to be the maintenance guy, and he already had his water and sewer certificates. If you did that, hired somebody for the maintenance that already has those licenses, that's gonna save you $175 a month.
Yeah, but Chris, you don't have those licenses.
Not yet, no.
But if maybe that should be one of the stipulations of being hired. I mean, it can save the town money that can go into the enterprise instead of paying Mike and Mike.
That was the last stipulation that the last 2 maintenance people,
We're supposed to do.
and neither one of them passed the test.
So,
So
I mean,
we had
I'm just
tests and we
trying to
had
help here.
Exactly, and we appreciate it. We appreciate it.
Because it's $175 for the Mike in Moreland and $150 a month for the other Mike in Basin.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but don't we have to have a level 2 operator that the level 1 works under?
We pay 150 and we pay 300 a month.
We've got to have a level 2 operator for the sewer. We've got to have level 1 for the water, and you don't go in tomorrow and take the test and pass it. I mean, it's quite extensive, and it takes you a while to move from level 1 to level 2. You don't do it overnight, so we're still looking at having both Newfer and Dallas doing our stuff for at least another year. And by having Mike doing it, he's saving us a lot of money because he does all of these reports that somebody just getting licensed, it's going to take them quite a while to get used to it. I was licensed, I know.
Well, I'm just trying to help you guys come
No,
up
I
with some
appreciate
ideas.
it.
Because, I mean,
Every little bit helps, I appreciate it.
And we need community support on this. I mean, you know, we're elected by you people. We're here to support you guys.
Go ahead.
You know, it seems to me like with these water rates and things are going, I mean, Miss Berry's got the prettiest one in the whole town pretty much. I'd hate to see that to have to live there. Why don't we see about getting the water rights from Millwood, and it's like 8 cents a foot, no, I didn't say 4 cents a foot for 1.5 poly pipe, and run taps and charge everybody 20, 25 bucks a month for unlimited resource, just like basins.
Well,
Great.
I need to know where you're buying 1.5 pipe for 4 cents a foot.
The roll
I
pipe?
need, the black,
Yeah, it's non-potable.
yeah.
Travis, the last time we looked into raw water and we got the bids from engineers, we were over $1 million on putting raw water into Manderson.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's just a good honest
And
thought.
it's, yeah, it is.
And I would love to do that. I mean, if we had raw water, I'll guarantee you, everybody in town would have
Pay for
water.
water anyways, you know.
What's that?
You don't pay to water your garden anyways.
Well, no, I don't, thank God I'm on the river, you know, I was smart enough to buy a place that was on the river, you know? Yeah. But no, that's something that if there was grants available that we could get, we would be going after those grants. And I'll guarantee you, we're trying to go after every grant we can get because, as you all well know, there's not a lot of funds to fund this town, the way it is, so. But no, I like the ideas. I mean, that's, you know, when we done sewer project, that was something we looked into putting in with the sewer project that time, but even doing it while we was doing all that digging, putting all that pipe in, the bid on it was over $1 million. And, you know, and you do one of those and you get a grant, and most grants are 75-25, so 25% of $1 million means we would have come up with $250,000, which we don't have.
Well, the way it is right now, before this rate, I mean, if you want a nice lawn, it's gonna cost you a couple $100 extra.
Absolutely,
Yeah, and that's ridiculous when there's so many ways around it.
absolutely.
Now, if you come up on a good deal on a submersible pump, I got a well.
Anyway, back to the rate increase, guys, you know, we could, and thank you, public, for involving yourself in this. You know, this is a tough cookie to swallow, because nobody wants any rate increases, but it's something that we've got no control of. I mean, this is a state deal that we've got to do what we've got to do, so. Getting it back to the issue on the rate increase, and if we're at 1,000 gallons, the only other thing we need to do is figure out what we're gonna charge per 1,000 gallons after 1,000 gallons is used.
Any ideas?
50 cents, 75 cents, somewhere in there. How high do you have to go on it?
Well, the bottom line, Judy, is and we're not gonna take it to a point that, like there's no way that we're gonna raise the water rates $55 to make this thing come even. So, you know, I think if we do it in small increments, and maybe we do a 50 cents per gallon to start with, and you know, once this is done on this rate increase, what the state recommends is every year, and Dennis, you've been involved in this, is you've got to do a 2 to 5% increase on your water per year to protect your reserves. And that's what all the towns in the state do, is every year we've got a water and a sewer rate increase. The thing the reason that we're so high on ours is because we got very few taps. So
We're spread out.
we're spread out. So, you know, if we had, like Basin, if we had 850 taps, you know, it'd make a world of difference. But look at what Basin's had to raise their rates this year. It was in the paper, I forget what it was, so I'm not gonna state a number that I can't recall, but they had to raise theirs substantially this year too. But I like what Judy says is, let's do the base increase and let's do 50 cents a gallon per 1,000 over the 1,000. So, you know, if you're using 11,000 gallons per month, and take 1,000 away from that, times that times 50 cents, you know, that's a $5 increase on your usage of your water.
Most people in town use 3 to 7 gallons. You've got a few that have issues, and it's regularly $35,000 or 35,000 gallons.
Yeah.
And if they want to pay per gallon, I guess that's not a problem, but.
Absolutely. Well, I will go ahead to the council, seeing as has been discussed. I will move to make a motion to raise the water rates by $7 on the base charge, the sewer by $5.50 per gallon, usage after 1,000 gallons.
1,000 gallons.
I'll second it.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? I didn't hear you, Troy. Oh, okay. This here staff, I can hear in one ear. Okay.
Mr. Mayor, can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Did you say this tap out here is free? Is that
No,
what I understood?
No, it's that the town doesn't, I mean, we charge people to use it, but as far as having a person who actually gets billed for it, the town has to absorb it.
no, we get 25 cents every time
Yeah,
somebody, yeah,
you know how
Well, what
often
about
people actually
raising
use
them?
that?
not very
I
often.
haven't had anybody use it in about 4 months.
They will this summer.
They will this summer, but yeah, but right now, it's not getting
Can that
used.
not be raised to help?
Huh?
Can that amount not be raised to help?
I don't know, can you raise it? I mean, I had a cistern when I lived in Riverton, and it's always been 25 cents there, so I don't know how you can change the machine to change the amount.
There's a meter, I'll have to look at it. You can set the meter, you can set the gallons up
I guess you
or
can set the
down.
gallons down.
Yeah,
Or are you talking about the,
Yeah,
yeah.
but yeah, it hasn't been used, I think, since October.
Mr. Mayor, while we're on this subject, I would like to bring this up too, is I think the town, out of the general fund, needs to be charged for the water and the sewer, just like everybody else. And that would be on the town shop, that would be here.
And sewer plant.
Sewer, well, the sewer plant is basically the,
But there's a tap there. There's a tap for the sewer plant, there's a tap for the town hall, tap for the shop, and the tap for out here. At least in the books.
so we got 4 taps.
There's 4 taps.
Well, we got 5 taps if you wanna count the inactive tap in the shop.
Yeah, that would be an impact.
Yeah,
But I think that, that would help our sewer fund, and I realize that we've got a lot of funds in general either. But I've said this for years, that I think the town ought to be paid for the
For the bills.
bill, just like I pay.
now what about these hookups around like the park? Can people go in there and just get water out of them?
During the summer,
They can go get water out of them?
Yeah.
And then the town pays for that?
well, in all reality, we're supposed to have a padlock on all those, the maintenance man should be.
Well, water goes up, there might be a lot of them using those too.
Yeah,
back to the question on billing the town for 3 full taps and 1 inactive tap. It's going to take some of the pressure off the people, not much, but it's going to generate some money that's going to help pay everything down. So I'm going to ask for a motion to approve the town be billed for its taps.
I'll make that motion, so moved.
Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Water shut-offs. We've got so many people so far behind that we're going to have to send out shut-off notices. And we've been a little bit lax on it, but we need to get it done. They need to get your water up and be shut off. What else is there on that?
Basically, I'll kind of go over this because I've been doing a lot of work on this, if you don't mind.
Go ahead.
You've all got a sheet in your book over there, and you got highlights in yellow. So when we go through these, I don't want to use anybody's name. I want to go by number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, because Julie's got some of these that she can help us with that have got arrangements made. But here's the deal, is we're gonna get tough. I mean, if you're behind come 7 days from tomorrow, your water will be shut off. There is no, we're not gonna do any more payment options or anything else. I mean, 90% of the town pays its bills. We got 18 here that's delinquent, And with the $33,000 deficit that we are currently experiencing, we've got to be caught up. I mean, we've got to get damn tough on this, and we're gonna get tough on it tonight. Or I
Well,
hope-
it's not fair to us that are supporting the town and then some aren't. It's not fair to us to pay our bills on time all the time.
Absolutely.
And it's not fair to the rest of us.
So anyhow, let's go through these, Julie, and you'll help us out on it. Number one,
Is already non-op,
all right, we've got that. Let's go to number two.
needs to get paid.
So, number two, circle it, guys, do whatever you wanna do. Shut out notices. Did you print any of those up tonight?
No,
Okay, can you do that when the meeting's done, so the mayor
I
can
can do,
sign
I
it?
can do that.
And then we will have the police officers deliver those shut-off notices, tomorrow. So,
Can I ask a question on that 7-day thing? Can you explain that a little bit more?
basically, what we're doing is anytime that you shut somebody off, you've gotta give them a 7-day notice.
Okay, so that 7-day doesn't mean like, I got my bill on the 11th this month, and I don't pay it until the 25th because that's when I get paid, and I gotta get shut off.
No, these are all several.
No, I'm just asking.
These are delinquent accounts we're talking about.
Okay,
So.
and the bill is still due on the 20th of the month, correct? Not the
We're-
18th?
We're gonna change that. We're gonna
You
make
need
that
to
due
make a
on,
resolution for it.
we're gonna do that, make it due on the 30th, because a lot of people in the social security don't get paid till the third Wednesday of every month.
Or the, yeah,
So that's the
or the
way,
last, well, I know there's a couple of people in town that get paid on the last Wednesday every month.
that's the way it is. It's generally the last Wednesday of the month, like, well, I know 8 or 10 of them that they get paid social security on the last Wednesday of the month.
Right. Some get it earlier, some don't, but
Yeah.
I was just trying to understand what you meant by the 7-day thing.
No, that's for the delinquent accounts, the 18 that we currently got.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Number one's off, number two needs a notice,
So, shut off notice for number 2,
three needs a notice,
number 3 needs a notice.
four needs a notice, five's been trying but needs a notice,
Okay.
6 needs a notice, 7, doesn't even live here anymore, that needs to get written off as bad debt, if there's, it's not there.
Bad, yeah.
8's been making payments but has not made a
I
contract.
talked to them.
Okay.
You got that straightened out.
9,
So do we need a shut off notice for number 8?
No.
No, that's gonna be taken care of. Good.
10,
How about 9?
9 needs to get notified.
Another thing?
10, somebody's been making efforts on that one, but it needs to get a little kick there.
Yeah, it gets a little higher every month.
11, it seems to go for 2 or 3 months and then get completely paid off, but we need to notify them about that.
Okay,
12,
definitely.
yeah, I'm getting nothing. 13 is not a water, it's something else. 14, yeah, they're a little bit behind. 15 has a contract. 16 is already off. 17 is off, not off, well,
Hold on, which one? Okay.
17 is,
16's off.
16's off, 17, needs to go off. 18, I don't know, I need to have a little come to Jesus with somebody about that one, but, we need to,
So basically-
we need to have a talk.
So we need shut off notices.
They are- they-
For
they
1,
don't-
2,
they don't
3,
agree with
4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So we need to put out 11 shut off notices so the mayor can sign those and get those to the police officers.
Yeah.
On number 7, is that a rental house or is that,
Can you go back to 7? That person doesn't live there anymore, it's been sold, it's somewhere else, this is really old. And I don't know why it's still on there.
Number 7 was paid off 6 years ago.
Yeah,
I don't know where.
yeah, that just needs to get written off because it's old.
well, we don't, if somebody else moves in, they've got to pick up what's owed on it.
There won't be.
I think it's been covered, I
Yeah.
can go back.
Okay.
I have to go back through the old bookkeeping,
Yeah.
which is a lot of work, but I can do that. Because I don't think there's been, that person's been there for quite some time.
Yeah. Okay,
So
I was just
let me
curious.
Let me research that one.
okay.
So, it's my understanding, we're gonna go ahead and get those printed out tonight, so.
I can print those tonight.
Okay.
Mr. Mayor, now what about, once we get this cleared up, are we not doing any more contracts? I mean, once they clear them up, then they start from new and it should be no contract.
You know, we don't, if we do contracts, we're not doing anybody a favor. Once you start getting behind on a bill that high, if you get behind one or two bills, you're unlikely going to catch up with most people. So I think if they can't pay it, or they need to pay it when it's due, without contracts, unless, you know, there could be an extenuating circumstance, a death or something like that.
Well, I think if you look, Mr. Mayor and Council, if you look around the surrounding towns, they don't do contracts. I mean, they shut them off, and that's the way we've got to be. We just, it ain't that we want to be, it's just the way it's got to be done, guys. We are a business. We've got to run this business according to state laws.
So then I would say, no, we won't do contracts. The ones that have contracts now will be finished up. Everything else is paid in full.
But we need to check our ordinances, because I want to say there's something in the ordinances about making arrangements, so we need to double check that.
So now we're on the court account.
State that we need to have a separate court account for all the citations to go into that we basically flush every month. We decide what is the budget that's gonna go to the police and the rest goes to the general fund. And they're adamant that we need to have started that yesterday, so we need to set that up. I talked to the lady from the bank, she said we need to get a signature card and basically decide how much we're gonna start the account with, but you got it, so.
So you know what needs to be done, Mr. Mayor, explain it to the council, let's get it signed and move on.
We need to make a motion tonight on who we're adding to the town accounts, the regular accounts, and it's gotta be in the minutes. And then for the clerk of court account, we need to put in the minutes who's going to be signing on it. And then give them a copy of the minutes.
Julie, shouldn't our clerk of court account require 2 signatures as does the?
Yes. Everything needs 2 signatures, absolutely. Yes. From that account though, there's gonna be almost nothing paid because it's, I don't wanna say it's a clearing account, but basically we need to just record that this is where all the court money comes in. And then we disperse it to the general and we allocate what goes to the police, what goes here, what goes there. And so it's a transfer of funds. I mean, we can order checks, but I don't really see Janet needing to make any payments for anything from that account.
Yeah, can I just answer? So what will happen is, all the money that comes in, both deferrals and citation payments, will go onto this court account. I'll keep track of it, I'll do all the deposits. I have a safe that I ordered with the mayor's permission in there, so I can hold on to all of that until I make the deposit. In the summertime, it'll probably be, you know, at least once or twice a week. What will happen is that money will all go into the court account at the end of the month. If you look at the proposal, at the end of the month, I'll add it all up, and then on the first of the month, I'll ask Julie to transfer all that money, from 100% of that money, to the general fund.
Right.
And then from whatever happens after that is up to the town. So that's the town's accounting. So, and then, because, Rod, did they say anything about a servicing fee?
No, they didn't.
So there'll probably be a servicing fee. What we'll have to do, and this is all information, it's all in that proposal, and it's all information that I've talked with the auditors about. But at some point, I'll get I'll send an invoice to the town from the court saying, you know, we need the payment for the service fee, and the town will provide that, will give us that.
Jan and I have discussed this, and yeah, per the auditor, we have to zero it out every month. But there is gonna be that servicing fee that needs to be charged to them. And then, we have to allocate where everything goes as far as the police fund, the general fund, or if it's deferrals, then it goes to the community fund.
And the only checks that are likely to get written are refund checks.
Right.
To people who overpay by more than $10. That's the state statute. So if there's an overpayment of more than $10, then from somebody who sent us a check in payment, or then we'll have to have a check to send to them. But ordinarily, most people who pay online, if they overpay, I just do a refund right away.
Now, just a question, do you take care of the expenditures and everything, or just the town clerk do that?
Nothing.
She does.
You just take care, you do the citations and...
She's gonna handle all that, yeah.
All the money that comes in, I'll handle all of that, put it in the bank. At the end of the month, I'll tell Julie how much to transfer out, which will be all
the deposits and all the tracking and all of that.
So while we're on that subject, I think Janet, you was gonna check into the bonding for the, did anybody check into that yet? You or-
Well, I've been trying, but you know, it's been hard. I don't know what the problem is with the Ram's Head, but I sent her an email last week saying, here's what we have, this is what we need. I didn't hear back. I called her today, or yesterday. Anyway, I called her and I was like, I guess it was yesterday I called her. And I was like, I need an amount, so, because we have to have a bond for the judge also, per the auditors. My bond has to go up from 5,000 to 50,000. So, and then all you guys have to be bonded. And so I sent her that last week, didn't hear back, called her, she was gonna send me something today, and
Nothing.
so.
What Janet Manderson and I agreed on is that the clerks have to have 50,000. But
And the judge
the amount for the
should have
judge and for the council members should be 5,000.
I thought we talked about 50.
The direct count, the cash handling.
Okay, no.
Really? I thought we talked about 50 for the judge.
For 50 for the judge? Was the
And Ron, in the clerk, they're exempt because they're already bonded to their positions, right?
All the bonding is through positions.
So we've got to bond everybody here,
They said everybody that's a check signer has to be bonded.
but I thought the mayor was already bonded.
It was just the mayor and the clerk before.
And it's
The
not-
mayor and the town clerk were what, 50,000? And then I'm bonded at 5,000 right now because I didn't handle money. But because we're changing that, my bond needs to go up.
It goes up to 50,000.
Does that mean,
The cost goes up.
The cost will
Yeah,
go up, yes.
the cost goes up.
all right, we got to keep working on that. We'll let you report on that whenever you get to it. So, Mr. Mayor, do we need to sign, do we get something that everybody needs to sign to get this account into play?
No, we've all signed it. Janet signed a sheet. I'll have Jennifer sign a sheet. And then we'll make a motion that on all of the accounts, or are we going to include the new account where everybody's on it, or are we just going to put two on it?
Janet, help us on this, because,
It'd be-
if we only put 2 on it, and 3 of us are out of town,
Right, exactly.
That's why we need to-
Yeah, we need to have everybody on that account.
Because it's rare that we're gonna need checks from it, but when we need it, we need it.
absolutely.
Absolutely, yes.
Thank you.
So let's make a motion for all of the town accounts that everybody here plus Janet
There's a signature.
will be a signature on every account. And then I've got to give that to the bank, the minutes, and then they'll go ahead and get it done.
Right, and when I talked to somebody, she called me about that sweep account.
Yeah,
She said that we need to have something that shows it in the minutes that we discussed it and approved it.
okay, we never approved it though yet.
We will tonight though, right?
I don't know.
I will go ahead, Mr. Mayor, and make a motion to go ahead and put,
Name the name, so,
okay, so I will make a motion that everybody will be a signator on the court's account, including Troy Chambers, Judy Burry, Rod Patrick,
Jennifer,
Higgins.
Higgins, Julie Williams, and Tim Patrick,
And Janet Reesner.
and Janet Reesner.
What, no, I'm not, I can't be a signator on the account because I'm keeping the books. That's per the auditors.
Okay, so erase the Janet Reesner, strike Janet Reesner from being a signator on the account.
she's got to be there to make deposits, doesn't she?
But that,
You don't have to have a
Right.
signature to make the deposit, you just have to be bonded.
Okay. So we have that motion, did everybody understand it?
I can do that, Judy.
All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Motion passes. Now, we need to make a motion we've got to do all of the other accounts. We need to get Jennifer on all the other accounts. Or do we want to do that when we swear in next meeting?
Let's do that when we swear in, would be my vote.
Okay. Moving on.
Wow.
Update on ordinance.
Something we haven't released, so I just stuck it in there.
Okay. So let's move to police digital tickets. Now, just one question on digital tickets, to be correct, since we didn't have that in the budget, do we have money left over from the budget if we decide to do that, to do it?
Yes.
Here is where I'm at on that, guys. I am 100% for that digital deal. But I'm not ready to move on it tonight. There's a couple of things that I've been going over, and the reason I'm not ready to move on it is, you know, we basically got $346,000, $346,576.81 in total income. Our fiscal year budget is $401,700. Now, what I'm trying to, and Julie's gonna get this for me, and we can move on this quickly once that's done. But right now, if the fiscal year ended, and I don't have Julie's report yet, she tried to pull that up, but we didn't get the right report up, because the report that she gave showed that, we paid $20,000 and some odd dollars in wages this year, and I know it's probably closer to $300,000 is what we paid in wages. So, with everything that I've totaled up right now, we will have a deficit of $55,123.19. So, now that's to date today. So what that means is, in the next 4 months when the fiscal year ends, to break even with an average ticket of $150 per ticket, we would need 92 tickets more, which is not an issue, because I know that May is coming, and May is a good month for tickets. The new system's $20,000, again, doing an average ticket of $150. I want to get more clarity on, and I know there's a lot of factors that figure into this, but when you're adding 133 tickets on top of that for that system, and we don't have this year's budget done for the police shop, do we, Janet?
Well, nobody's asked me to start one yet, so.
Can you start on that, please?
So
Starting April 1st,
it
yes.
was not over 400,000, it was less than 300,000.
I got it right here. Total budget for, where's it at here? And the other day. That's the general fund, just a minute, income.
Oh, you got 12 more pages down here.
Okay, total expenditure was $401,000.
Should get access to all this information.
I don't know, that's from the police, because right here we got payroll. Payroll wasn't $300,000 last year. That's what they budgeted for, but it wasn't that much.
Absolutely, that's why we need to get the total expenditures that have been year to date, and then take the 4 months and add up to it. Because I'm sure that when Janet done the budget, that you pretty much done the budget pretty close to what our expenditures were gonna be as far as like wages. I mean, we know what the wages are, and we know what the profit, or what the insurance is, we know what the retirement is, we know all those numbers, correct?
Most of them, yeah.
Okay, so would it be fair to say, or am I assuming that if you put $300,000 into your budget for payroll, that's probably gonna be pretty close to what it will be?
Well, I think that's really high.
That's why I'm saying
Yeah,
is,
no,
I think
I
that's
want to say
extremely
the payroll was under $300,000. And the whole thing was under $300,000. It was like 278 or something.
What I would suggest, let's get all of them numbers together. We're going to be having a special meeting sometime this month. So if we can get them numbers together and see where we're standing, and then make a decision on it.
Are we able to vote for that within a special meeting? Because I know they're under a time restriction, because this takes a couple months to get in progress. And we want to get this going before their busy season, because once that busy season hits, that's not a good time to be taking classes and figuring out how to use the material, to use the software.
Yeah,
yeah, I agree with that totally. I agree with
I would say, right, I would say if we don't start it in April, I just was looking at the,
That's gonna be bust.
then it won't happen until
Next year.
November.
Yeah.
It can't happen until November.
so we can do it a special meeting, we just gotta put it on our agenda.
I'm one council person that I've been going through a lot of things. I don't know if anybody else has or not, but, my vote tonight, would be a no vote, but there's 4 other council that can vote on it, so I just put my opinion out there. I think it's a great idea. I want you guys to have it, but I want to make sure that we can afford it. That's the bottom line.
Let's let the council discuss it here first, and then I'll come back to you. Troy, Judy, any?
I'm against it right now. This, you're talking this.
Yeah.
Yeah, right now, I think we need to figure out some more if we can afford it.
Troy?
I I'd like to see it happen, but again, if we can afford it.
So what will, you say April, if, we're going to be scheduling a meeting sometime, the
We'll get
latter
into
part.
that, we'll get into that in special meeting.
Okay, well, Julie,
Part of our expenses for last year, we're improving the cop shop. We're not doing that anymore. That took a lot of money. So that's something to consider is when we look at the total expenses for last year. That was huge.
What was
Because
the
it-
total expenses? I never find out.
Well, it was made out lower, but I want to say by the time we paid for materials and we paid for the furniture and everything else, I'm gonna say it cost us a good $5,000.
Take your
Yeah, I thought it was a lot.
Yeah.
And I nobody ever come up with any
Right,
numbers.
it was presented as much less, but
Yes, you
as
will. You
things
don't
added
take your
up,
apartment.
yeah, I'd have to actually pull everything out, but it's gotta be at least 45,000.
Well, let me ask you this too, okay, we've always griped, well, I guess we'll do this in executive session, I bet, right?
it depends on what it is. So we gotta be careful there.
Well, it has to do with that kind
Yeah.
of together.
Let me look at the calendar here next. So, let me ask you this, Mr. Neal.
Sir,
If we could come to a decision on this, which I believe we can, and depending on the numbers that Julie pulls up for us and get through that, today is the 14th, and we're gonna talk about special meetings here in a minute, but we're planning a special meeting for the 23rd. So if we done that on the 23rd, would that give you enough time? I mean, we're a week's difference from tonight and then.
sir, I think that our clerk is better prepared to answer that question than I am.
Okay?
And I'm not gonna be here on the 23rd, I'm out until April 1st,
Okay.
tomorrow afternoon.
So if
And I
we
will
were
be
done
unavailable.
April 1st, June 1st, do you think we could have that installed?
By June 1st?
Yeah.
I have no idea, I need to talk to the guy, but I would say citations speed up in May. And in the last several years, May has been an extremely busy month. I don't see how the officers can do all the training and handle all the citations that they'll be writing. And I will have to handle all the citations that they'll be writing and do that at the same time.
So it's getting the equipment, getting the software, getting it installed, and doing the training.
That's right. And then working out bugs, because you know there's gonna be bugs. There's gonna be glitches and things that need to be changed at the last minute, things like that. You know, working with White to make sure that what we're giving them is what they need.
1 minute while I'm looking through some things here.
So the whole thing is gonna cost a little over $20,000.
Initial setup, yes, sir.
Yeah, by the time you pay license.
Yes, sir.
And is there a yearly fee to this?
There is, sir. That should be the lower number that you see below that $20,000 figure. It's a license fee.
Oh, okay.
So the recurring annual cost is the $1836, sir.
Okay.
Dig you up and I'm gonna burn your ass.
Give me a minute here, guys. Council. We wrote 404 tickets in May, that's a lot of tickets. So if we decided on this tonight, you ordered it tomorrow, when an estimated date that's gonna be installed?
Well, I can't really tell you, I need to talk to the guy.
So we might be 3 months anyway, I mean,
Well, we can push him, I mean, it's just, you know, I don't know. That's why I was kind of hoping it would happen early.
6 weeks.
I'd need to ask him.
so we really don't have the information, whether it's 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, I mean, we don't have any clarity on it.
Better talk to the guy tomorrow.
Yeah, if it's 4 months, it's not gonna do us a bit of good this year.
I'm sure you can get a hold of them tomorrow,
Yes, ma'am.
probably, maybe, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then we still gotta wait till the special meeting. Unless you guys wanna roll them all on tonight.
Well, you said the 23rd, that's next week, right?
Yeah,
23rd soon enough.
I mean, it's 1 week,
If we, yeah, we can do the 23rd.
but then Janet said she's not gonna be here.
No, Janet's going to be gone. Does it have to be, can we get it set up so that if we give the go-ahead on it, it can be ready to go even if Janet's not here?
I think that's a fair question we can ask the person who represents Title Tex.
So if we, what was the date I had? 23rd? So if we passed on the 23rd, gave her the go-ahead, she can get that rolling.
And if she's not here, I'm sure one of us could,
Somebody could.
the chief, or if he designates me, one of us could get that information out there.
Again, what I'm saying, Officer Neal, is I'm 100% for this.
Yes, sir, understood.
But, you know, we're in charge of all the funds that come through here and everything else, and I wanna just make sure that we're not gonna destroy our police department with an extra $20,000 that we might have and we might not have. I believe we've got the money to do it. But I would like to take another week and get the numbers on this from Julie.
What starts at 6?
Understood, sir. Thank you.
Next week, they can have it ready to go if and when you said yes. Does that work for you?
Yeah, and my vote's a yes if everything comes out,
If it's feasible.
if it's feasible.
Understood, thank you.
So, I propose that we get the numbers from Julie, we go through those numbers very thoroughly at the special meeting on the 23rd. If we approve it on the 23rd, they can move on.
Well, and all the expenses that we had from the bill and
Yeah, from the good.
Yes.
Yes. Everything.
So let's have a motion to table it until the special meeting.
I make a motion to go ahead and table this until the 23rd of March, 2024.
Do I have a second? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Did you have something? I'm sorry.
I did, these special meetings, how much does this cost right here?
We're gonna go into that here in a minute.
Okay, I mean, come on, I'm not trying to, let's not try to outdo the last administration.
Let's
Okay,
let's discuss that during the special meeting, because I want the public to understand what that's all about, so.
okay, next on the agenda is advertised for maintenance position.
Guys, I wrote a deal in there, and if you guys approve that ad, we'll go ahead and have Julie get that in, for your statement.
we get it in the paper, we can put it in the meeting as well.
No.
Has everybody read that ad, is it good?
I don't think I've, do we have it?
Do you need to have any special requirements in here aside from the
I think what we'll do on notice when we interview, if that's good with the council. Basically, so the public knows what the ad reads, is Town of Manderson is currently accepting applications for a town maintenance person. Job duties includes general maintenance of all town-owned properties, water and sewer, mowing and spraying, meter reading, park watering, mechanical abilities, attending meetings, reports, etc. There's a whole bunch more, but we don't want to, when we interview, we can go through those things instead of writing them in. It's going to be a half a page long. Wages to be determined based on experience, send resume to Mayor Love Patrick and Julie Williams at Town Manners, P.O. Box 96, Manderson.
Can I change that and to or?
Sorry, Jeffrey.
Love Patrick or Julie Williams.
Yeah.
We can change that, or. So we can move on, Mr. Mayor, I'm gonna make a motion to go ahead and, run this ad in the paper for 2 weeks, starting next week.
Do we run it until it's filled?
Well, I think we'll look at it in 2 weeks and, we ain't got anybody, we gotta keep running it.
All right.
Ad okay with everybody?
I made a motion.
Second?
Second. Do I have everybody in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion passed. New business. We got a building permit that we need to pass for Mike. I can't think of your last name.
Burlington, not Burlington.
Burlington.
Mike, do you have drawings and everything of what you want to do on a building permit?
Chicken scratches.
Thank you, man. So I'm gonna pass this around to all the council. It looks like we're building a 50 by 80 metal building. We're gonna build a house, we got a shed on there. You got a line of where everything's gonna go.
Let's go this way.
Mike, is there any fences involved in that? Are you gonna put any fences up? No?
Not this time. It's another water tap.
Yeah, water tap. Septic tank.
So is there any discussion on the building permit? Do I have a motion to pass the building permit?
I'll make a motion to pass the building permit.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
We're glad to have you in town, bud. Glad to have you.
Okay, moving.
The new business A is what I put in because I've been asked questions by the auditors regarding our billing services and what definitions are. So we need to figure out our definitions, maybe while we're doing budgets. Like they asked about the mosquitoes. Mosquitoes, we have residential, we have business, and we have big business. What's the difference?
Yeah.
Building permits, we've got residential, we've got business, we've got commercial, and then if it's commercial, then there's an additional square footage. It's like, well, so what defines it? And these are questions they're asking, it's like, I don't know. So we need to either eliminate some of these terminologies or define these terminologies within our billing system, because they're asking me questions and I have no answer to give them.
Can we go into special
And
meetings?
we can do this when we're doing the budget, I think.
Yep.
I think when we do the budget, we can figure this out. But just I wanted to like get it out there because, yeah, I'm being asked and I have nowhere to go with it.
Is that it?
Yeah, that's kind of
Okay.
it. I'm done.
You gotta put special meetings in there. It's in there.
Oh, okay. Look, you want to do that now?
Yep.
Okay, special meetings.
And the reason I want to talk about this is because we've had some scurry and things being said about patting the council and mayor's pocket. That is not the point. And let me explain why we've got to have 3 or 4 or 5 special meetings over the next 3 or 4 months. As maybe you don't know, but as most people know, that we're in the middle of one hell of an audit. Like Julie, she's the one that's getting bombarded with the auditors on what we've got to do, how we've got to do it. There is so many things involved in this audit that there's no way that we're gonna do these in regular meetings. It can't happen. Special meetings, we've got a lot of things that's gotta be done with ordinance revisions. We've got the audit to deal with. This administration's probably got a lot more to deal with than any other administration's ever dealt with. So, don't think that we're having these to pad our pockets, because if $60 is gonna make or break me, then I don't even need it. We do it for a reason, and the reason is the reason we just talked about. I mean, it's gotta be done. We take the last, no, let's not even go there. But that's why we've gotta have these special meetings, because we got all these things pressing us. And if we don't get it done, then we're gonna be behind the eight ball with the state.
And we gotta get the new budget done.
We've got to get the budget right this time because we've got state auditors behind us. If it's not done, I would just as soon pay us as pay a big fine that they're going to give us. And their fine is going to be 10 times what we make.
And if
So
things
if-
aren't done right, it comes back on us.
Right.
Correct. So just an example, when I took a couple of half days off of work when they were here for the whole week, they took a copy of every page of this from that fiscal year.
Right.
They had me print out every person's water bill for that entire fiscal year, each and every invoice. So that's 12 invoices for everybody in town. They wanted to check the receipt books. We're talking, this was pretty invasive. It's not like a little brush over thing. I mean, they're digging down deep. So, yeah, they keep coming up with questions, and there have been so many people in and out of the office, and I've only been here since 2021. I don't know half the town business, and they're asking me questions, so I'm asking this person. It's that, and then we've got the budget to do, and we want to do it right. And so it takes these meetings, and, y'all know I work 24/7 between the job and the business, so we gotta make time.
And we're glad you're here.
Thank you. Thank you.
Sounds good.
I live in Happy.
Go ahead.
With the meetings the special secret meetings or whatever to raise the water rates and throw the,
I'm sorry, Travis, but there has not been any special secret
Okay,
meeting.
that's what I was wanting to confirm or deny. Thank you.
Well, so if technically, we cannot have any 3 board members discussing board stuff without it being called a meeting, that's illegal, so we can't, so we have to call a meeting.
Okay.
I can't just go have lunch with Judy and Troy and discuss town business, because that's illegal.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Right, that's no fair.
I don't do it for the money, that's for sure. I'd rather have sleep.
It was military way, special meeting to design bookshelves.
Oh, I agree.
No.
60 in a year.
Yep, I agree.
You guys are doing it. I have no complaints other than you're nuts.
No, it's like a big year-long proctology exam.
Just to clarify, special meetings are public
They are public,
They are
yes,
public.
absolutely.
They have-
It doesn't mean this public can interact. I mean, we can have a work session but people can listen in, but we don't have to take public comment.
Right.
But it's open to the public.
Yeah. Yeah, we advertise all of our meetings. They're all posted. So, yeah, the public's welcome, the camera's welcome, all that's welcome in any meetings we have because it's public information.
Okay, let's move on. Or did we finish that one?
Yeah, we got B there. Something here.
Thea, ordinances?
Yes, so I have some concerns and questions that I've asked the council over the last few months about some of them. Starting with who codifies the ordinances for this town. I've asked a couple of times and no one really knows, and.
I think we answered that we've got people, the codifiers, that we send the information to and they codify the ordinance.
All I know is it's a legal group that does it, I don't know.
They're in St. Louis, Missouri is where they're out of.
Okay, because, I mean, I had asked and I was told a couple times that that someone didn't know, they had to look, and then no one got back to me, so I was just wondering about that, because the company that is on the ordinances that we currently have no longer, I don't know, I guess it's been so long. Manderson is not a client, so they couldn't tell me anything. So, thank you for that. My next question is, how much does it cost to codify ordinances?
That's a good question right now because we haven't had any codified since we've been here.
And with everything going up, it goes up like everything else. So.
But I can get that answer for you by the next meeting.
I think she has experience with this.
Yes, I do. It depends on how big
Lengthy, yeah.
excuse me, how big you want it and how you want it changed. Some of them, they will fix and put it in the correct word form for you, and that costs a little extra because they're not gonna send something back that is not legal.
Correct.
So they're gonna fix it the way it needs to be, but they will contact, I'm assuming the new clerk, to figure it out. And let, you know, then it really depends. The 4 resolutions we did to update ordinances when I was clerk, the most we spent was $150 on one. For the other 3, it was close to $500. But it was because they had so many different things that a couple of the council members wanted in there.
500 each or 500 for all 3?
All 3.
Okay, I thought it was a lot more, so that's not as cool.
I guess it depends on how many, like, if you say, I want this, 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 and this in there, and then Judy says, well, we need to have this, 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 and this, and there's 500 new words, it's gonna be more.
Okay, go ahead, Thea.
So, with that in mind, they cost money, obviously. My question is, we're already struggling as a town to build up our funds, to be able to do more things. But the council's been trying to create another ordinance when we first got here for goats or whatever. And so I'm curious, how the council can justify trying to do something that really I don't think is needed, because the ordinances already have an ordinance that deals with the goats in town. And so I'm just wondering, because we're already trying to figure out where we get money at, then we have ordinances that we're trying to create, ordinances that we're trying to update, which agreeable, they probably need to because they're old. But is it vital to the town currently to be doing that in our current financial situation?
We've got to.
Even with ordinances such as the goats one, I use the goats because it's the most recent. When ordinances like the goats, there's already one in there talking about livestock. And so that one really isn't necessary currently, whereas the ones for fixing when the bills are due, that one is. So is the council planning to make a list of the ordinances they want to make change and whatever, and then cutting ones that aren't necessary, or like what is the plan for the ordinances? Because I hear a lot of talk about them, but not a lot out outlining a plan to tackle them.
The ordinances will stay the same as they are until we deem it necessary to change one. You know, I can't see in the future, but we're trying to keep this town clean. We're trying to keep the main street here clean. We've got a lot of work to do. We've got a lot of people that want a clean town, and that's what we're striving for. The one ordinance didn't mention goats in it. Well, we gotta get it in it because right now it's on the main street.
Which ordinance didn't mention goats?
You said goats. We don't have in our original ordinance, it's not in there about the goats, how to keep them and what they gotta do to have them. And as a town, we've got to spell that out. If we don't, let's throw the ordinance book away and say, hey, if you want to grow marijuana over here, go do it. If you want to do this or that, go do it. Ordinance is a way that we control what happens in town.
So will the council then be expanding on the livestock ordinance for all the animals listed? Because that does count goats, bison, horses, a whole bunch of animals, turkeys, that kind of thing.
If somebody wants to bring bison in, yeah, we're going to have to expand it, but I don't think we're going to let bison come into town.
Because as it stands, with the ordinance, it is just by written permission through the council, so the council could have just said no. And so I was just a little confused as to why it was being expanded on currently when we have a lot of other things that need to be focused on, such as enforcing the ordinances that we already have, which Councilwoman Judy has mentioned, enforcement of the ordinances, which are not happening, and who is involved, who is in charge of that, and it's the council. Council is supposed to be writing the violations and sending them out, and then the penalties, which the ordinances do say in there for quite a few of them, what the penalties should be. And so it seems like a lot of waffling and confusion as to who's supposed to be enforcing that when it's state. And so I'm just...
It's our intention to start enforcing all ordinances. Starting with cleaning up property, starting with junk on town streets, everything. We're going to start doing it. I don't know what else to say, but we're getting it figured out on how we're going to do it. All of this stuff is going to be enforced. A lot of people are not going to like it.
Can I say something?
Shoot.
Okay, if you've got a solution for us and you can help us, how do we enforce this when these people don't have the money to pay the fines? Then what do you do with dogs? We have nowhere to go with them. If they're running loose, barking, or get out, or whatever, we can't even, how do we enforce that? What my question is to you. You can fine them, but if they don't pay their fines, then where do we go?
Well, according to the ordinances, a lot of these violations are actually considered a misdemeanor. So it is fine or jail time for up to 6 months. So that would be something that the town would put a violation out to them, and then it would become a court matter.
So you...
That actually would not work because we may create the ordinances and we may enforce them to an extent, but we are not law officers.
No, but that's when the law officers get involved.
See, just to help you a little bit on that ordinances to you, you know, if you look through our ordinance book, when it was created, there's things like monthly mosquito charge, dog license tags, reemplacement tags, kennel license fee, registration of potential dangerous dogs, annual registration fees, dogs running at large, on and on, water rates, hookup rates, non-sufficient fund fees. We've got all this in the ordinance, but this is something that we're gonna be going through in these special meetings, is there's gotta be charges put with each one of those, because it don't spell out.
Most of them have charge part in books, we just don't do it.
Yeah, exactly, but we've gotta set those fees during budget session.
Right, because a lot of them have.
Absolutely, so, you know, that's part of what we're doing with the ordinances. There's some rewriting of the ordinances that's gotta be done. For example, you know, it says in the ordinance book that, the fees may only be raised during budget session. We need to change that wording, because if Joint Powers comes to us and raises the rates again in September, we've got to be able to raise those rates before the next budget session, otherwise we're gonna take it, you know where. So that's what we're doing with the ordinances. There's a lot of work to be done with it. As far as the GOAT ordinance, basically the reason that we've done that is because there was no definition in that in that other ordinance on how the fencing was supposed to be done, how big the pins were supposed to be, what size wire it was supposed to be. That's the reason that we've got to redo ordinances on things like that.
Okay, that makes sense.
So, you know, I don't know if that helps you or not, but,
And I really, honestly, I don't actually care about
But
that.
there's some ordinances that don't need a definition.
right.
Like there is an ordinance against burning trash in towns. You're not allowed to burn trash and burn barrels in town.
But can't you
But-
burn cardboard, that type of stuff,
Cardboard,
it's
that's
not garbage.
That's not what it says.
Right.
It says no burn barrels.
How about leaves?
Right, you got a question.
Sharon, please.
So like when we get, why don't we just stand? So when we get billed for mosquito spraying, but that doesn't happen, then what does the public do for not having to pay for that?
We put buckets out last year.
Let me help you on that, Rod, I can answer that question. Sharon, a lot of times, and Troy's been our sprayer for years, you know, he's got state stipulations he's gotta go by. If the temperature ain't right, he can't spray. If the wind's too much, he can't spray. So there's a lot of times, like last year, we didn't get spray a lot of time because of wind. I mean,
But he also made up those sprays the next week.
what's that?
Rod had him make up those sprays the next week.
Right.
He had him spray every day for a week to make up the week that he couldn't spray.
And then back to the burn barrels, then nobody's supposed to.
Well, we're gonna redo that because that's BS. That's one of the reasons.
Well, I just needed to know to let
Yeah.
him know, because I know he burnt barrels today.
Yeah.
No, there's the way that should read is cardboard leaves, branches, things like that can be in the burn barrel, but you can't burn garbage in the burn barrel, is the way that needs to
It is unlawful to burn any garbage or refuge within the town.
be. See,
It
that's
says
one on
right
the
there, no
schedule.
garbage or refuge may be burned in the town, oh, wait a minute. No garbage or refuge may be burned in the town of Manderson except for cardboard, paper, grass clipping, weeds or leaves, which may be burned on the premises of the owner with prior notification to the sheriff office.
Right.
Which is what he.
But that's not the burning plastic I smell on a regular basis.
Well, cause see, I thought you could burn cardboard and
Yeah.
stuff.
It's not plastic, I mean, people are.
But going back to you, Thea, when we run across stuff like this is why we have to go back through it and have to codify. Because little stuff like that might have been missed, so, you know, that's why we're focused on getting
Yeah,
around to the
it's hard
street.
to try and
And, yeah,
take care of them.
I mean, I'm sorry, we're all
It's a lot of
human beings, do
little
slight
things,
bites.
And this just, how, since I got here kind of last year or so, how long has this council been a council?
Since the beginning of '23.
Okay.
1 year.
1 year, okay, good, because I had no frame of reference for that. So, the town is currently, obviously, trying to get to a point where you can enforce these ordinances.
That's what we're trying to do.
Yes.
Right. But I don't hear a lot of conversation about that, in that you keep talking, you keep asking who's supposed to enforce them, but then not trying to actually come up with a solution. When the ordinances do already say kind of how it's supposed to work, so where are we moving forward on that? With the dogs at large, okay, I understand we can't do that. However, junk cars, weeds, people burning trash they ain't supposed to be burning, and people see it and send in a complaint or whatever, then what? Does the council just not do anything with that, or if the council sees it, they don't do anything? Because it hasn't been done and people will be upset. I understand that people can't pay, more than likely, that's why, it is what it is, but shouldn't stop the council from sending out those violation notices and at least making a paper trail, so to speak, that you're doing your job, is basically it.
So you're saying we're not doing our job right now?
Yes, ma'am. That is what.
Well, maybe, no, I'm not gonna go any further. You should try this and see how it works.
Maybe I will.
It's a tough thing to do in dealing with people when you're trying to.
And they
do that.
do enforce things.
They do.
I got told I had to get my dog licenses before a certain time last year, or I was gonna get $100 fine. They do enforce stuff.
And that's.
But they don't announce it to the whole town that they're coming to Bob Chambers' house to give her a ticket because she didn't get her dog tags.
True, but then they sit here and they ask who enforces ordinances in a way that indicates that they don't know.
The part of that is, and I can probably answer that best, is, I'm just gonna put it out there, we took all our mess. We're working to straighten that mess out now. As far as enforcing the ordinance and everything, that's why we're going back through these, changing what we gotta change, and then our law enforcement officers are gonna be our enforcement agency. They're gonna be the ones that deliver the ticket to me for having my cows out in the front yard instead of having them pinned up in back. So that is in the works, and that's in the works of a lot of these special meetings is, somebody said something about, we know some people can't pay. That's all gonna change too. I mean, we're gonna work out a way that they're gonna pay. And it could be, through a situation where we issue a citation for a junk car and it don't get removed. We send that citation, it don't get paid. And this is just our thinking right now because it's gotta be brought before an attorney in the legal system. If we can put something in there that says, all right, you don't pay your citation, that's gonna be tied to your water. Water will be shut off. That's something, a legal issue that we've got to talk to an attorney about, because we're not gonna do something that we don't know anything about.
Or if you got a junk car, we can, if you don't remove it, we can hire somebody to come in and take it. They'll take them for free. Junk mowers, all junk.
AAA Services, Auto Salvage, Site Recycling and Consulting at 106, 116 South 2nd, and no, that's my business. I'm zoned commercial.
I don't know whether you're zoned commercial, but if you've got cars that are not licensed on the street, if you got your mowers out there that ain't being used, if you got an old camper out there that shouldn't be on the street, then yes, we can come and remove it and
Yeah, that's.
But you can't go on somebody's property and remove it. Like if Troy's working on his pickup and his tags are expired in the driveway, can you remove that?
No.
Oh, no, I was just checking, I was just asking. Because I've had people tell me that they keep getting threatened
okay,
to.
wait a second, Hannah?
Well, let me get my train of thought here. I know that down on our property, we have several travel trailers. Well, 3 of them actually, that aren't usable. But we can't, I don't know what to do to dispose of them because Pete Smith won't take them because of the insulation on the inside of them.
Call Randy Brown, he'll take them.
Randy Brown?
Yeah,
He'll take them up on the hill.
take them up this.
We're over here on the corner.
So they gonna go anywhere,
No, they go on the hill.
just more junk.
That ain't my problem, that's our time.
And then we have the Jeep sitting down there, which it was running when I parked it, but Kenneth says that it can't be used anymore.
Won't Smith take cars?
He will take cars. But the thing of it is, I have to make sure that Kenneth agrees with me to get rid of the Jeep. Which, If it doesn't run.
Hey, there's a lot of men that way, and you know that you're a woman.
And the women are right, if it's a piece of junk, get rid of it.
And that Jeep, according to Kenneth, is a piece of junk. So,
She should get rid of it if she wants.
well, we got rid of some of the vehicles. Greg took them down to Pete Smith.
Well, there you go.
Okay, the floor goes to Judy here for a
Okay,
second.
Thea, you're saying that we better just get right on it now and start going around and going to everybody's yards and start finding all these people right now. You don't understand what that's gonna be like and how we're gonna be not like. I mean, you gotta do this slowly and you gotta get the cops behind you to go do it. And you're gonna put up with the wrath of all these people. Right?
Actually, I would like to clarify, I did not say that I think you should do it right this second. I asked what you were planning to do in the future.
But we're doing a bad job, you also said.
Yes, because it says in ordinances, which you should at least know a little bit about, that the council is supposed to handle that. And you specifically have asked who is in
Yes, I
charge.
have, and Barb, I have asked, we have told her that she is completely out of the ordinance, haven't we? And she says she's 100% over there, and she is not. And we can't go on her property to even examine it, have we?
Yes, we can.
And it's in the ordinances.
We can. The council's got the right to enter anybody's property with phone calls to those people. And if you read that, it's right in the ordinance.
Well,
We
she's
can,
gonna stop you.
we can remove animals, we can do that. The council would never go do that. That would be up to our police officers.
And I'm not talking specifically about a person. I
Well,
am
but that's
asking
what I've been
specifically.
harping about, you know it, and I know it's aimed at me. But she is not 100%, and I've harped about it, but how do I get it taken care of?
Actually, I'm talking to council as a whole because it matters.
Okay, Julie, please.
Just kind of wrapping things up a little bit. I mean, you said we came into a mess, but I mean, I was on the last council and the mess was there before that too. I think as a new person in town, I only came here in 2021, I haven't been living here all my life like some of y'all. There are a lot of things I see going on in town that it's just been habit. You do things by habit, this is the way we've always done it. That doesn't mean it was the right way, and it doesn't mean things don't need to get fixed, but that's gonna take a lot of time. And it's a slow process, and it's examining the ordinances, and it's figuring out how to do it, because we're a small town, we don't have the resources to.
Or the funds.
Or the funds, the people, the money, the whatever, to take care of some of these things right away. So it's a slow process, but, I don't know, it's like, at least for me, we're working on it.
And that is honestly my only real concern. Is the council truly and taking it very seriously and working to move forward on these ordinances that have not been enforced? And I thank you guys for your answers. And really, I think it's just really important that the ordinances that we have, even though they're gonna be fixed, which is good because we're really outdated, that the town understands that you guys are working on it. It's not, because we're only here once a month, and most people are not here. And you have questions, you wanna know, what is the council doing? What is the council that I voted for doing?
Absolutely, and you've got every right to ask that.
So, and I do appreciate your answers.
Absolutely. And Thea, we definitely are. I mean, behind the scenes, there's a lot more goes on than what you see at a meeting.
And that's one reason I really wanted to speak today.
Yeah.
Was because there is a lot going on behind the scenes, and you can't ask what you
No.
can't answer what you don't know.
I get phone calls and text messages and Facebook messages and
Exactly.
everything from people asking questions and how about this and how about that.
And it's
I
like-
address it as I can.
And it's like I tell everybody is, I'm pretty much retired. My phone number's available to anybody that wants to call. If anybody in this audience got a question.
I got your phone
Yeah, but
number.
they like me better than you, so
Well,
they call me more.
Okay, one more question on this topic, and then we're done. Go ahead.
Thank you. Can we please get those freaking signs down at the park? There's no need for them, that was all done for bullying tactics and things like that. You do that, I'll do what I need to do, and I'll initiate.
What signs?
Let's get that done.
The ones that say no parking.
Because if not, I gotta keep parking stuff further and further out to get the freaking goat heads and stuff run down. Yeah, It's been every week so far, there's been at least 2 people pulling their car. Can't do that, guys.
See, I got no problem with taking no parking signs down, because in all reality, that
There
is where the public's got to park to.
They got, yes.
Yeah, and we lost the road on the side, that's been shut off. There ain't but 1 or 2 spots on the other side that you can parallel park over there. So in all reality, where he's talking is right in front of the park. That should be public parking for the park.
You know, make it, if you wanna put a sign up, say no parking from like 10 PM to 6 AM, or whatever you feel justified.
You know, I don't think we need that, we just gotta make sure that people that are using the park there and not somebody pulling a vehicle in there because they have nowhere to store it. As one of the reasons it was put that way, but if we can take the signs down and keep it controlled, we can leave them down.
May I say something?
Yeah,
If you're gonna take those down, take the rest of them around town down.
what's the rest of them?
They're down on the other side by my house and down in front of Cassie's old house.
And
They're
by my house.
There by Troy's
And
house.
right there by Troy's
Yes, they
house.
put up just around me
Why?
and down Stuvie's.
I got no issue with taking any of those.
Well, I know
signs.
why they were put up, but it's, anyway, if those go, the rest of them need to go.
Well, Troy has that one no parking on his fence.
Wouldn't Jack used to park there?
I mean,
His big truck?
you're not parking on his property,
There's
you
somebody
can park
like
on the
that.
street.
Looks
And
like-
you just stand there parking in front of his gate, and
Right,
blocks his gate.
exactly.
But the rest of it, I don't understand.
No, I think, Judy, I'm with you, I think
You
it's
have
all
no parking
petty
signs
BS.
on our house?
Well, I think they all need to
Where?
take them.
Yeah.
No, I'm not talking about that, Troy, I'm talking about the one that lives over there beside the post office.
Oh, that's Justin.
Oh, that's Justin, sorry.
Oh, no, you're fine, I just didn't know you had one.
Okay, move along, mayor's comments, I have none, and I think we've already went through the public comments, but
I have to,
we'll do a short one here. You raised your hand first, go.
Just a quick question. We didn't do a town cleanup during the fall. I'm wondering, are we gonna do a town cleanup for the spring, get the dumpsters? I know we're a financial thing, but as far as everybody talking about picking up junk and everything else, having a cleanup for the spring would be beneficial if we can do it.
Yeah, we were talking a little bit today, that we probably wouldn't, and this, I was talking with Dennis, and, you know, we need a town cleanup, but I don't think we're going to be able to do the dumpsters this year. But what we would love to see is people donating time, helping people, like Dennis needs his weeds mowed down. Maybe we take the tractor over there next month and mow them down. And get a bunch of people together, go over and rake the leaves in the park. Find older people that need help getting things done. Let's make it a community effort, and if we could get people from town doing it, instead of, and I'm sorry, but me and Tim do 90% of it when it comes to stuff like that. If we could get the people in town to come and help, we could clean the town up in a year or so, but we've got to get help.
Chris,
Why don't you do it like a potluck and a day and have everybody show up and do
you
things
just
like
said what
that?
I was gonna say is.
See, I offer to help, but I can't because of my knee.
What I'd
And if
like
I
to do.
volunteer to go, I get yelled at.
And we'll bring this up at the next meeting, but I'd like to take 2 homes per month and see if we can get a community effort together. And we'll pick those homes depending on where they're located, like, we want our Main Street looking good, that's number 1.
Yeah, that's no problem. It was just, we
Yeah.
talked about it, you know, in the fall, and it would come up in the spring, and it was just one of them things. I know with my mama, she couldn't do anything, so there's crap around there that I need to get rid of. And I've got no problem helping and everything else. I was just wondering Do I need to take it to the dump myself, or was it gonna be a town come on? I mean, it's neither here nor there.
Chris, let us do this if I may, is, I think that, because we can't do anything on that tonight because it wasn't on the agenda. But let's put that on the agenda for next month and let's study it, guys, and see if we've got the funds to go ahead and bring in 3 or 4 dumpsters.
Whoa.
I mean, this is one of the things, and you know, when it comes in, I'd be more than willing, you know, I wasn't here last year.
Right.
So I couldn't have helped.
And we would appreciate that because, you know, there's a lot of people that's got a lot of junk that they can't haul over those dumpsters themselves. So if we had a community project, and I like that, a potluck, you know, when we're done, you know, we spend a day on your yard, we spend a day on Randy's yard, we spend a day on Travis's yard. You know, we look at this and see where we need to do it, and if we could get a community effort to come in and help us do that, that would make a world of difference.
We got, don't we have a dump truck?
No.
No, I thought we had one with the transmission, sinkers around.
Motor's out, bed shot, tires are shot, it's going to keep spinning. It's not worth selling.
If you need to be excused, I don't.
It would.
Either that or take it
Because I
out
don't
for a
think
whole
you
red
expect
truck,
me
then
to
throw my
see
stock
that.
rack in.
Hey man, well, I talked to Mike, Behringer a little bit tonight, and he's got a backhoe and he's buying another one.
It'll be about.
He will help donate, like some of these places, we gotta dig stumps out and things like that, so we've got, Chris, I think we've got a good start on getting a few people at this point that we can plan these things and start getting this stuff done.
Yeah, I was just wondering on that, because I mean, it was something we brought up before, I was just wondering on it, that's no problem. And then I do have one other question. When I first got here, the council said that they would help me get my water license. Is that something that's been rescinded, or is that something that's still in the works, or how would that work out?
That's still in the works.
Okay.
But what we're waiting on is, we've got Dallas and we've got Newford. So.
Wasn't Dallas getting ready to retire? I don't mean to cut you off.
And he is, and that's why we've got to start moving on this pretty
Now,
seriously.
before you go there, Mike has gone to retire from the town of Basin, and he has gone to still contract out with these small towns. He takes care of 6 or 8 different systems, and so he's not retiring right away, but we still need an operator, you know, level 1.
From the research.
And you'd be smart, anybody would be smart if they could work under Mike Dallas for a while, because that man knows his business.
And I understand that, and from the research that I've done, I have enough time when I was underneath Kenny Hall that I'd go straight into my level 1. So that's where I'm at. I just needed some help from the town on certain parts there. But, you know, that's neither here nor there. It's just something I wanted to bring up and ask.
Yeah.
That's it. Thank you, gentlemen.
Still in the works.
Thank you.
Anna?
Yes, I had a comment that I was gonna make when, that's specifically why I came to this meeting. But you answered that when you introduced that young lady sitting there on your left. You took care of that for me. And I also want to say, I don't know whether anybody has noticed or not, but the property on, that property on there where we live, it looks 50%
Looks
better
wonderful.
than it
Chris
is.
done a good giant.
Yeah, these kids done a great job.
Absolutely.
But they ran out of time, so that from the,
And that's where our community service needs
where
to
that
go.
old mobile home sits, from there over to the fence, they didn't get that, but.
But it's getting warm.
We've all got issues with our yards, you know.
Yeah, well, and Kenneth and I are neither one capable of doing all of
Absolutely.
it.
Oh, heck, I thought you were still a spring chicken.
Well,
She is when it counts.
Okay, any other comments?
I make a motion to adjourn.
You got executive.
Second.
I've got nothing. You got something you wanted in there?
Yeah, yes.
Okay. I make a motion to go ahead and move to executive session at 8:38.
9:38.
8:38.
Yeah, no, that clock hasn't been
Oh,
changed.
9:38.
8:47.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and release the clerk because she won't be in the executive session. If you want to, you can go ahead and leave at this point.
And Mr. Mayor, if we could, we've been in here such a long time, can we have a 5-minute break?
We can take a 5-minute break. There was nothing decided in executive session. So at this time, I'm going to ask if there's a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second. Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Meeting adjourned.
You say nay, I'll get her to keep you.